o'clock, and this is the scheduled time of Economic Development and Tourism Committee meeting. Have you had a chance to look at the minutes more?
I have. I'll move for approval.
All right, second. Those minutes are approved. All right. First item on the agenda for new business is a library on second. Mr. Mitchell.
Yes, sir. Mr. Wesley will come present this item. I think this is a follow-up from the walkthrough. How you doing, sir?
You ready to roll?
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon. Once again, my name is Quentin Wesley. I serve as the Director for the Office of Innovation and Economic Opportunity. What's before you today for your consideration is a project agreement for the Library LLC, well, the Library on Second LLC. Now, how we frame this, I want to be extremely clear that the funding source is independent of our general fund. This is truly BPA reallocating resources back into their site. So there were a couple questions and concerns that arose as we were going through this process around ensuring that the public was able to understand that this is a public use and that this is resources going back into that site. So fundamentally, it's less about library and more about the city investing in its own city-owned asset for preparation for retail. Notably, I would draw your attention to page 2, paragraph 3, where we've inserted language to ensure that that is what is communicated to the public from a contractual standpoint. And then 3 major points in that third paragraph is that this does promote local economic development, retail business in the city. It eliminates blight and factors associated with blight, and fundamentally, it takes and reappropriates underutilized property for readiness for retail activity. So, remove library from it. This investment takes place. Insert any other name, and it will be a site ready for use. Thirdly, in terms of protections around the city, the major thing is that they will be occupying the space for 5 years. If such time that they do vacate within that 5-year period, there is a clawback provision. Also, to ensure timeliness and execution, as they are essentially acting as project management, that 75% of the project has to be completed in 12 months, or the city has an opportunity to execute a termination clause. I would like you to hear from Mr. Dale Smith just to give you further clarity about what sort of experience this will yield for the public. I want Birminghamians to know that this is an asset for downtown and that it does keep people in our community beyond 6 just by the sheer nature of this retail industry. And fundamentally, it is a huge boom for what will become, an extended uptown entertainment district. So, Mr. Smith, just give them a couple highlights, and then we'll answer any questions.
Council, as Cornell said, you go to any major city that is up and coming, what you'll find is that there's typically a good spot for people who like to enjoy cigars, and then being around the company of cigar smokers can go to. And the issue is right now when people come into Birmingham, I know I hear it all the time, like, where do we go? And we're directing them to go down Highway 280 to the nearest place, nearest location for folks that are staying at the Red Line or hotels downtown on First Avenue. That's not really what they're looking for. And so this is something that we believe is going to benefit people who actually live here, of course, in the city of Birmingham to actually enjoy, but also for folks that are coming in from out of town. And with all the sports activities and the things that are going on in that area, I think we have a fantastic opportunity to kind of promote Birmingham as an additional place for entertainment via this cigar lounge. So more than happy to answer any questions you have.
One other note, this is for this success also essentially prepares us for future success in other retail establishments that the city owns, specifically around parking decks. So if we are able to continue this sort of mechanism, what it does is prepare us for all the other identified spaces that are either vacant or prepared for vacancy. So we want to make certain that what this does for Birminghamans is put that money back into that site, whether it was vacant or not the appropriate retailer inside site. Now we're ready to get those back activated and back into public use appropriately in the downtown area where the greatest amount of economic activity is housed.
So, Cornell, I think that that interests me the most. I think that that's something that I think that's something that has the ability to change some of the environment, especially if we have what we consider not highest and best use. And so I think that there's a lot of value in that. Mr. Mitchell, yes.
Yeah, I was going to add some more context to that because we're working through redeveloping the management agreement with BPA, Mr. Andre Smith.
Okay.
So we can look at the more long-term solution for our parking decks. We're reinvesting that money that we get from the revenue off the parking decks and reinvesting that back to more long-term rental use spaces in at least 3 or 4 of our parking decks that has that build-out capacity.
Good, because I think that we probably should have done that 20 years ago.
I would agree.
I'm glad we're doing that. Mr. Mitchell, 5 years ago, y'all had me as chair of public safety at that time put together an ordinance that bans smoking on public sidewalks, along with the American Heart Association. And y'all tried to include vapes in there too, but I was too good to my party and folks in Lakeview to let y'all do that. Is there any concern with y'all's relationship with the American Heart Association and providing public dollars to something we've tried to outlaw? On
Yeah, we're
public
trying to
streets?
tag team this one. I think it's different because it's inside and not outside smoking because this space does not have a patio, if I'm recalling correctly. And so it's really beneficial because the build out of the space will have ventilation, so it wouldn't be a big time secondhand smoke facility. So I think that would not curtail the issues of what the American Heart Association has, but at least alleviate and have them some type of buy-in of, just making them comfortable with the space we provide. Because no food will be there either. Yeah.
No, very, very little food, top of style food. But to Chief Mitchell's point, the ordinance that became this new cigar ordinance was done with that particular health ordinance in mind. And so, as required by law, the type of ventilation that we're required to have addresses that very issue. Fresh air comes in, smoke comes out. A young lady or a young man can feel comfortable entering an establishment and coming out and not smelling like smoke. So it's best as a cigar establishment can be healthy. We have done everything as a municipality to ensure our ordinance reflects a unique customer experience with the neighbors in mind.
Okay. Maybe we can have a heart association fundraiser there. What you got?
No questions.
Ready for the vote?
I'm gonna vote no.
Okay, I'm voting yes, so that will go to the full council with no, since we don't have a third member to tie, it will go to the full council with with no recommendation, not a recommendation of no, but with no recommendation.
We got you.
You understand? Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next item, CHP acquisitions.
Good morning, councilors. James J. Stockford, a service real estate manager with the Department of Innovation and Economic Opportunity. Thank you for allowing us to come to the table today. And we're asking for your support and approval for the sale of 3 vacant city-owned lots to CHP Acquisitions, LLC. We have Herschel Hamilton, who's a partner of the company, with us today that can give us a little bit more detail and answer any questions you may have. The company is looking to develop about 10,000 square foot mixed-use building there on the site to offer retail, food services, another office space. Herschel can give you a little bit rundown on what they're proposing. This is going to be adjacent to their existing new headquarters office for Block Global.
All right, how are y'all?
Good to see you.
Let me pass these down to you. There's one more. So if you take a look at this image, this is a building that our firm bought about 1.5 years ago on 7th Avenue North, right in Birmingham Civil Rights District. We renovated the building for our offices and the offices of Dental Wellness Center. And you see the before, the completed picture, and the picture that says Phase 2. That greenfield lot in the foreground is property that's owned by the city of Birmingham. So we're interested in acquiring that property to develop a mixed-use facility that will be a combination of retail, likely food-related retail, and commercial office space. I've got a a rendering to you to take a look at. I wouldn't get hung up on the design. That's really just a massing diagram to give you a sense of the scale of what we envision being put on that corner. As you know, in the Civil Rights District, it's underdeveloped, especially as it relates to retail services, particularly food service. And so as we develop other properties in the district, and as we recruit tenants and other business owners to the district, everybody's looking for creature comforts that you find, food, drink, other services. And so our goal is to incorporate those, or some of those in that building on the corner. And so we're requesting to purchase the property from the city of Birmingham to develop a mixed-use facility on that corner.
Any questions?
I guess scope of work, you know how long you all suppose this would possibly take to?
Yeah, so since it's a new construction, 18, 24 months, we're requesting in the contract to have a 180-day due diligence period, so we can, do a thorough due diligence. But typically with a new construction project, it's 12 to 18 months on a building of that scale. That envisions a roughly 10,000 square foot building, 5,000 square feet on each floor.
My only comment is, thank you for investing or potentially investing, depending on what happens in 180 days in this area that needs the investment. So thank you.
Well, thank you.
Second, so that's approved.
Okay, thank you.
We'll put on full council next week.
Yeah. All right, the next item is SOCU or SOC Birmingham LLC.
Yes.
Hey, how are you?
So once again, Cornell Wesley serves as the Director for the Office of Innovation and Economic Opportunity. What's before you is the first RISE agreement. We also want to begin this by saying thanks to the Council for approving the RISE initiative. Again, for the public consumption standpoint, it stands for Retention Incentives for Success and Expansion. You'll recall that this program is underwritten by the sale of what we would consider surplus property, where 7% is retained, 4% goes into one fund, a grant fund, 3% goes into a revolving loan fund for the purposes of retaining existing businesses here and ensuring that they can expand. We have celebrity chef here, Erica Barrett, who has, in a very short order, established 3 different opportunities here, 3 different brands in our community, from SOCU to Tina's and Gina's, and to now what's spreading across the country in Doughboy. And so this is the first grant, $50,000 for the purposes of adding additional staff, and I'll allow her to speak to specific uses of the proceeds, but one of the eligible uses, which we've identified, is additional staff, which translates to us more jobs. So $50,000. Ms. Barrett, if you want to give them a little bit more insight on how you're going to use the funds and what you expect to do.
Yeah, absolutely. First, wanted to highlight again what Cornell stated. I've been in Birmingham, was brought here and recruited by the city of Birmingham to come and do more business and kind of grow my hospitality brand. So over the past 18 months, we've opened up 3 concepts out of Tina's and Gina's Doughboy, which is a Birmingham original and has now gone into 15 locations nationwide as a franchise. And then SOCU, which Birmingham is its 2nd location. So we'll be using the allocated funds to grow our staff and be able to grow SOCU, Southern Kitchen and Oyster Bar, and be able to retain great talent, more chefs, more managers, and more servers, so that we can, continue to grow our brand throughout Birmingham.
Where's this? Sorry for not knowing. Where's
This
this?
food hall.
Okay, but that's already in the position, right?
Yes, all 3 concepts are there.
Okay.
It's right by the road.
Right,
Okay. I
by
got
the
you.
standard.
Yeah, I'm with you. All right, great.
Yeah. No, I've had an opportunity to come out there and eat some of your food, and it's really good. So, I'll move for approval.
Second, Madam Passes.
Thank you.
All right, the next item we have is Craig LLC.
Good afternoon again. I think Cornell and I took another tag teams. Trent Foster.
You got it.
is-
You got it.
Okay. This item, we're asking for your approval, for us, what is it, is they completed everything they needed to do in the, agreement when they bought the property back in, 2020 when we closed on it. And, this is something that we need to have, that's a approval that they've completed everything that they needed to do. And, so that the record can show, in the title, chain of title, that, the city won't be coming back and trying to take the property back from there as they move forward with possible sale.
You got any questions, Jason?
You said, so the city won't come back?
Yeah, they've completed everything that they were required to do within the deed, and so since it was in the deed, noted, they want us to have official, approval showing that they have completed everything, and the city is not, holding them to that.
Gotcha. Okay. No, cool.
Second, I just have one question. Is that not something that the law department can just convey?
It's there. The council still has approved it
Okay.
to remove the covenants and restrictions.
Okay.
And so they can be recorded in that chain of title as well.
Yeah.
I got you. Okay. Second, so that item is approved. I don't think we have any old business to discuss. Second, please.